Hi, it's Katrina! From a magical floating island to caves with newly discovered species, here are 9 lost worlds found on Earth. Number 9. Mount Roraima. This plateau is known as the floating island of Venezuela. Its remote location and indigenous folklore make it the perfect place if you are looking for adventure. As the highest formation among South America's Pakaraima tabletop mountain chain, Mount Roraima is a plateau that sits among the clouds at 9,220 feet above sea level. Serving as the tri-point of the Brazil, Guyana, and Venezuela borders, Roraima is home to unique wildlife, including numerous species that are found nowhere else on Earth, as well as some of the world's highest waterfalls. This was said to have greatly inspired Paradise Falls in the movie Up. To the indigenous people, the plateau had mythological significance. It was a symbol, a place where all the world's fruits and vegetables grew on a great tree, but the trickster god chopped it down with his mighty axe, causing a great flood and leaving a huge stump behind. These tabletops are considered home to the gods, known as tepuis, but they have not been extensively explored. Its intimidating position and challenging terrain deter even the bravest of explorers. The climate is tropical and humid at the base of the mountain, with an average temperature of 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher up, the plateau's weather is much different, and the average temperature drops to around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Here it rains pretty much daily, and the mountaintop is home to various different types of forests, where you'll find endemic plant and animal life, including orchids, carnivorous plants, insects, birds, toads, and small reptiles and mammals. The plateau is an estimated 2 billion years old, making it one of the planet's oldest known geological formations. It was long considered a culturally significant landmark to indigenous peoples before English explorer Sir Walter Raleigh first described it to Europeans in 1595, and it is an integral part of many myths and legends. Today, Mount Roraima is a popular hiking destination for adventurous backpackers who are willing to undergo the arduous journey to reach a nearby village via dirt road, before trekking for a day or two to reach the mountain's base, and another day to ascend the plateau. There are often reported sightings of mysterious lights hovering in the area. Many people who scale Mount Roraima report experiencing altered states or intense feelings like some sort of spiritual journey. This natural wonder remains quite the mystery. Number 8. East Scotia Ridge. Located roughly 800 miles east of South America's southernmost tip in an isolated region of the Southern Ocean, the East Scotia Ridge is home to hydrothermal vents which consistently heat the water, reaching temperatures as high as 700 degrees Fahrenheit. At around 8,000 feet below the water's surface, life is completely dark here. Using a remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, British scientists explored the little-studied region in 2009 and 2011 and discovered a plethora of previously unknown species, including hairy snow-white crabs, 7-armed sea stars that exist nowhere else on Earth, and a yet unidentified type of octopus. They also found new species of barnacles and sea anemones. Water samples showed that the hydrothermal vents emit life-sustaining bacteria and gases, but just the same, researchers were shocked at the abundant biodiversity that they encountered. Duke University Marine Laboratory Director Cindy Vandover told the Washington Post, "It's remarkable that we can be in the 21st century and still not know fundamental things about what lives on our planet." At the same time, creatures that the team expected to cross paths with, including tube worms, vent mussels, vent crabs, and vent shrimps, which are found in hydrothermal vents in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans, were nowhere to be found. Scientists believe that the Southern Ocean may act as a barrier to certain life forms, and that life on the East Scotia Ridge has been isolated for millions of years. Number 7. Hang Son Doong Cave. This enormous cave looks like the entrance to another world, and in a way, it is. Life in the cave has adapted to these conditions, and plants grow in some areas, reaching toward cracks of light. Sometime between 2 and 5 million years ago in what is now Vietnam, the Rao Thuong River carved a cave into a 400-million-year-old rock formation. Known as Hang Son Doong, it's located within the Phong Nha Ke National Park near the Laos-Vietnam border and is widely considered the world's largest natural cave by volume and cross-section. Big enough to house a 40-story skyscraper, the cave's main passage is 3.1 miles long, with some sections measuring 656 feet tall and 492 feet wide. A local man named Ho Khan discovered the cave's entrance in 1991 while searching for valuable aloe timber. He was afraid to go inside, however, due to the sounds of whistling wind and a rushing stream coming from within. In 2009, a group of cave explorers from the British Cave Research Association conducted a survey, which led to Hang Son Doong gaining international recognition. During the exploration, the team encountered a nearly 300-foot-high calcite barrier, which they jokingly nicknamed the Great Wall of Vietnam. The following year, during their second expedition, the group traversed the wall and reached the end of the cave passage. The cave is so large, it even has its own weather system, with clouds lingering above. Last year, researchers confirmed the long-suspected fact that Hang Son Doong connects with a nearby cave called Hang Thong, effectively increasing its volume by over 56 million cubic feet. Inside the cave, explorers found unusually large baseball-sized cave pearls, as well as some of the world's tallest known stalagmites, measuring as much as 230 feet tall. Hang Son Doong is open to tourists for the steep price of around $3,000 each, and permits are required to enter the cave. Number 6. Melville Range Rainforest. In 2013, a team of scientists and filmmakers set out to explore a remote rainforest atop Australia's Melville Range. Located on the Cape York Peninsula in the country's northeastern region, the small, rugged, 9-mile-long mountain range's misty rainforest appeared in satellite imagery, prompting the researchers to go and see it for themselves. While there, the team encountered a new species of skink, a type of reptile which they named the Cape Melville shade skink. It's found nowhere else in the world, much like the blotched boulder frog. It has adapted special evolutionary traits to survive among the huge boulders of the Melville Range, including large eyes, which help it see better in the dim shade the rocks provide. The Cape Melville leaf-tailed gecko also has large eyes as well as long legs, which enable it to climb efficiently on the rocky terrain. Researchers believe that the wildlife here has been isolated for millions of years, evolving to suit the conditions around it. The frog and gecko displayed no fear of humans upon first contact, and the discoveries of these one-of-a-kind creatures remind us that the world is a much less explored place than we tend to think. Number 5. Bosavi Crater. Around 200,000 years ago, the cone of a now extinct volcano in Papua New Guinea called Mount Bosavi collapsed, creating a 0.6-mile deep, 2.5-mile-wide crater, which is home to its own unique isolated rainforest ecosystem. In 2009, an international team of scientists and a film crew working on the BBC wildlife documentary Lost Land of the Volcano ventured into the Bosavi crater and discovered over 40 previously unidentified species endemic to the site, including 16 frogs, 3 or more fish, insects, spiders, a bat, and a giant rat measuring about 82 centimeters long, in other words, over 2.5 feet, and weighing around 3.3 pounds or 1.5 kilograms. That is a really, really big rat. Scientists believe that the animals living in Mount Bosavi's 3,280-foot walls have been isolated since the collapse of the volcano's cone, meaning they likely evolved to possess traits conducive to their survival down there. The crater is so remote that the nearby Kaswa villagers considered it inaccessible and possessed limited knowledge of what was inside. According to one village elder's take, if you fall when climbing in, no one will ever find your body. Number 4. Cima Humboldt and Cima Martel. Cima Humboldt, also called Cima Mayor, is a massive sinkhole located atop the 11,500-foot-tall Sari-Sariñama Tabletop Mountain, or Tepui, in Venezuela's Bolivar state. Similar to Mount Roraima, it's situated less than 3,000 feet away from another enormous sinkhole known as Cima Martel. These flat-top mountains are believed to be haunted by evil spirits that live in caves up at the top. Sometimes the evil spirit can be heard devouring human flesh, and then a spooky sound of sorry, sorry. A pilot named Harry Gibson first spotted the sinkholes while flying overhead in 1961. During the 1970s, explorers descended into Cima Humboldt and established that it has a depth of 1,030 feet, measuring 1,155 feet in diameter at its upper rim and 1,647 feet near the bottom. The smaller Cima Martel sinkhole measures roughly 814 feet deep. Due to their gargantuan size and depth, the sinkholes are thought to harbor their own unique ecosystems. To this day, Cima Humboldt and Cima Martel remain largely unexplored. Surrounded by dense jungle and hundreds of kilometers from the nearest road, the sinkholes are difficult to access. When researchers traveled into the gaping void of Cima Humboldt and noticed that it progressively widens, they had a complicated time getting out, to say the least. Any plant and animal life found within the sinkholes is likely very rare and unique, given the location's inaccessibility in a region that is already remote and isolated. Number 3. Palawan Highlands plant life. In June 2007, scientists exploring the highlands of the central Philippines discovered numerous previously unidentified species, including a large carnivorous plant, which they named Attenborough's pitcher plant. It ranks among the biggest of all pitcher plants and was observed consuming a shrew in 2012. Botanists have observed other bizarre plants in the area, including blue mushrooms, pink ferns, and a new species of a type of sticky trap plant called a sundew. I love those. The Attenborough's pitcher plant is only found on Mount Victoria in the Palawan province, between altitudes of 1,450 and 1,726 meters. Due to its extremely limited distribution and the ever-constant threat of plant poachers, the species is classified as critically endangered on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List. Number 2. Melville Cave. Near the Black Sea and the Bulgarian border in southeastern Romania's Constanta County is an underground cave that has been isolated for around 5.5 million years. Known as Melville Cave, the site harbors a poisonous atmosphere and is completely devoid of light. Yet miraculously, it's home to a diverse ecosystem of creatures, including scorpions, woodlice, centipedes, and other creatures who have evolved uniquely due to their isolation and living conditions. The cave was discovered in 1986 by Romanian workers who were testing the ground's suitability as the site for a new power plant. Ever since, authorities have allowed less than 100 people to enter the cave, a dangerous undertaking that requires a 66-foot descent down a narrow shaft, followed by a series of limestone tunnels leading to a central cavern containing a lake. The pool of warm, sulfidic water stinks of rotting eggs or burnt rubber when you disturb it, as hydrogen sulfide is given off, microbiologist Rick Boden, who visited the cave, told the BBC. The atmosphere is rife with harmful gases and contains just 10% oxygen. Visitors face a 5 to 6 hour time limit exploring before they are at risk for kidney damage. Despite this, Melville Cave is home to at least 48 species, 33 of which exist nowhere else on Earth. Scientists are studying how the numerous snails, shrimps, spiders, leeches, scorpions, and other life forms live in such an environment where the carbon dioxide content is 100 times higher than the air above ground. The creatures get their food from a layer of frothy tissue paper-like foam on top of the water, which contains millions of bacteria called autotrophs. Since there's no light to serve as an energy source, the autotrophs rely on a process called chemosynthesis, which explains the cave's astronomical carbon dioxide level. While this ecosystem is the only known one of its type, its bacterial life forms are paradoxically simple and may function much like bacteria elsewhere, according to microbiologist J. Colin Murrell. On the other hand, the animals within the cave have evolved to possess features unlike any other known creatures. Most of them lack pigment, and many do not have eyes, because it's a pointless feature in a place with no light. It's also common for these animals to have extra long antennae and other appendages, which help them navigate efficiently in the dark. Number 1. Lake Vostok. Over 2 miles beneath the Antarctic ice, there is a massive ancient lake that has spent the last 15 million years cut off from the rest of the world. It's similar in size to Lake Ontario, but is around twice as deep. A Russian geographer and pilot first suspected the lake's presence during the 1960s, while flying overhead and noticing a large, smooth patch of ice that sits above it. The discovery was confirmed in 1996 by British and American researchers using airborne radar techniques. Although Lake Vostok's mixture of salt and freshwater shows that it was possibly once connected to the ocean, it does not appear to currently have any other water sources besides meltwater from above, meaning it has likely been completely isolated from the world since the ice over it formed. Samples of accretion ice, or frozen lake water that forms on top of Lake Vostok's surface, taken during the 1990s by an international team of scientists, revealed the presence of microbes, suggesting that there's a unique ecosystem hidden beneath the ice, which has survived for hundreds of thousands of years without light. The discovery was surprising, as experts did not expect to find life in a place that lacks the conditions necessary to life as we know it. Almost as if it were on another planet. In more recent samples, scientists discovered genetic material belonging to over 3,500 species of microscopic organisms, including those that specialize in various stages of nitrogen and carbon cycles. The find indicates that Lake Vostok's ecosystem adapted to its changing conditions by evolving in ways that ensured its survival even after the water became completely covered in ice. Simply put, the lake appears to have established a way to survive by recycling its limited carbon supply, leading some researchers to theorize that this type of survival mechanism could facilitate life on the moon. Lake Vostok remains almost entirely unexplored, and the published findings erred on the conservative side, omitting any DNA sequences that scientists were not completely certain came from the lake's accretion ice. They believe that the subglacial water body likely contains a multitude of other organisms that are yet to be identified. Thanks for watching! If you'd like to learn more about our fascinating world, let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. See you soon! Bye!